This is about ripping a seam without a seam ripper. I'm trying to take the bias tape off this quilt, okay? Now, I actually kind of do use a seam ripper sometimes, but only if I don't have a loose thread on the end of my seam, and then I just use it to pluck out a few so that I have a tail. This is the back side of my sewing. I don't know if that's the needle side or the bobbin side. I've never been sure which one it is you pull. But one side of your stitch will gather up just a little bit, not much. It's hard to gather. That's not the side you want to rip on. So break that side, that thread, okay? Now flip it over to the other side and find the end of that side. See that tail there? That's the end of the other side of the seam. Now, start pulling it, and as you pull it, gather. Slide your fabric down that thread. Sometimes it'll break. That's okay. You still ripped out some if it broke. Slide as much as you want to down, like that, just like you're gathering a skirt or curtains or something like that. Slide it, slide it, slide it, slide it, slide it. Now I've got a pretty good bunch gathered up here. Go down to the other end and you'll find places where your thread just crosses like a little valley. That is a very good place to cut your thread. So reach in there and cut that thread. Okay. Then go back to where you were pulling the thread together. And you should have by now a pretty good sized tail of thread. Now, put your hand over here where the gathering is, hold it, and pull on that thread and slide it. And I pulled out a piece probably maybe 12 inches long. Okay? That took off that much binding. On the back side, the side that you really can't gather much, I've got this much thread, so pull it up a little bit, and the reason we pull it up just a little bit is so we can get a tail on the other side to work with, okay? Straighten it out and go to the other side, and there's your tail. Start gathering again. Slide the fabric down the thread. Just slide it down. And wrap the thread around your fingers as you're going. Gets it out of your way. Just keep twisting it around your fingers. Like a figure eight. I usually just twist it in like a figure eight. When you've got as many gathers as you think you want to try to pull out. Now you're going to remove every bit of this, the stitching on every bit of this right here. Go down here and find your valley. If I can find my valley. Here we go. Where you can cut a thread. Where you can cut a thread. There's one right there. And cut that thread. It'll be kind of stretched across that valley. Okay. I like to do it this way because whenever I use a seam ripper, I'm pretty darn good at ripping holes in my stuff. So now I'm going to go back, push this down that thread that I gathered with, and there you go. This time I took out about another foot and a half, about a foot and a half of stitches. And there you go. Cool, huh?